am so excited to share this new series/class with you. I'm going to begin teaching on Thursday nights restorative yoga class, and this series will be called Yoga for Sleep. So they kind of go hand in hand. What inspired this for me was I actually love practicing yoga before bed. I didn't used to do that, but then I discovered how much it really helps me to just ease into this restful state of mind, or whatever you want to call it. And so now I absolutely love it, and I do it all of the time. So I just wanted to share a 15-minute restorative class, or yoga for sleep, that can introduce you to what a class with me on Thursday nights might feel like. This is a class where we have all the props, like everything. So to get started, first grab your yoga mat. That's step one. And then if you have a yoga bolster, go ahead and grab that. If you don't, 2 to 3 throw pillows or 1 to 2 pillows that you sleep on will do the trick. Grab 2 blankets. So if you have a yoga blanket, awesome. And then just another throw. The other throw is optional. You really only need 1 blanket, but it'd be nice to have 2. And then if you have yoga blocks, grab 2 of those. If you don't, you can just use the pillows for what this will do. So, all of the props. It's going to be great. The whole purpose of this class is for you to feel supported. So that's what we're going to do. I have a candle. It's optional, but let me tell you, it just helps to set the mood and helps, relax you a little bit more. So that is an option. We're going to start in a Supta Baddha Konasana, which is essentially, if you're familiar with butterfly pose, it is a reclined version of this pose. So to get started, I'm going to offer for you to lie a throw blanket down on your mat, just for extra cushion, to make it a little bit more comfortable. It's completely up to you, but I find that it helps. And then from here, take your other blanket or pillow, place it where your head is going to go. That'll be your cushion for your head. And then grab your blocks and or pillows and place them on either side of the mat. Now, you're going to notice this pose is a little challenging for me because I live in a studio apartment and I only have so much space. So I've got a wall. So the wall is going to be my prop. Either way, start to lay down on your back. Support your head with something. Keep your knees lifted. And then whenever you're ready, take your props and in either hand and start to just bring your feet together and let your legs fall out to the sides. Place the block wherever feels comfortable. If that's under the knee, you can do that. If it's under the thigh, wherever feels like you can truly rest into this pose, that is the intention. You can place your hands, one hand on the heart, one on the belly, or you can place your hands by your sides. Either way, just start to settle into this pose, and you might kind of shift around a little bit until you can feel fully rested and comfortable. And if you would like, you can close your eyes or even just soften your gaze as we get started here. And we'll start by just doing a body scan to see kind of where we're at today. And so starting with the top of your head, moving through your face, start to relax the muscles. Let the face muscles go. Notice if you're tensing between the eyebrows or clenching the jaw. Allow your shoulders to really fall back towards the mat. Allow your heart to be open, your belly to soften, and your hips to be relaxed. Feel the weight of the legs. Allow them to be heavy and to truly rest on the props that are supporting them. And then just notice the feet touching one another. Notice if there are any sensations here, any tingling or vibrating. And if at any point this pose gets uncomfortable or too intense, you can start to release your feet forward, just opening up the shape a little bit. And just continue to breathe for the next few moments. Sometimes even just taking an intentional breath where you focus on what the inhale and the exhale feels like can start to put you into a more restful state, can take you out of the to-do list, the steadiness of the day, and can bring you to the now. And just notice what you're thinking about without any judgment. Just be aware of what's front of mind for you tonight or today. And see if it's possible to just return to the breath anytime that you start to follow a thought. Return to the feeling of the breath. And once you feel up for it, go ahead and place your hands on either thigh, the back of the thigh, and start to draw your legs together And maybe for a moment you take your feet wide, allow your knees to knock in together. And then roll onto one side and push yourself up to a seat. And once you are up, we can prepare for the next pose. So you can keep your throw blanket on the mat and remove the other props that you're using. Now we're going to whip out the bolster or 2 to 3 pillows. And we're going to place it so it's vertical on the mat. Just like this. And then once you have that placed, if you have your yoga blanket or throw blanket, you can place it on the top of the bolster or pillow just for a place for your head, but you don't need to. Once your props are all set, go ahead and take this position with your legs. So you'll notice that my knees are pointing forward and my legs are kind of in a Z. So it's just like a casual zigzag pose. Probably the best way that I have to describe it. And then once you're in this position, pull the bolster or scoot yourself so you're just a couple of inches away, so your hip is just a couple of inches away from the prop. And then once you're there, take either hand on the sides of the props. Start to twist your chest. If you need to adjust your stance a little bit, you can. Twist your chest so that it is almost parallel or in line with the prop, as much as feels comfortable in the spine. And then start to walk your hands down so your chest and belly are on the props. Keep your hands on the floor, and then you can take one cheek to the prop. If you are gazing in the same direction as your knees are pointing, that will probably feel more comfortable in the neck. If you want to give it a try, you can try taking the opposite cheek to the props. This just makes things a little bit more intense on the neck. So just listen to your body and see how it feels. This pose is actually a yin pose called deer pose. And I like to teach it because it is near and dear to my heart in my practice. And I realized that was just so unbelievably cheesy. And I didn't know that that was going to happen, so I hope you enjoyed that. Either way, just continue to breathe into the props. Continue to allow yourself to relax into the props. This is a great way to put your spine into a different position than it has been in all day. So often we're vertical in a sense, whether we're sitting or standing, and it can feel nice to switch it up and put a little bit of a twist into this area of the body. And just continue to breathe here, continue to rest. If you haven't closed your eyes and you want to, you can do that. Or just lower the gaze. And then when you're ready, you can use your hands to lift yourself up off of the prop. And what we'll do is just spin to the other side. So we'll come into this zigzag pose on the other side. Bring your hip about a couple of inches from the prop. Take both hands to each side of the prop and then begin to bring your chest down and take your cheek to one side, whatever feels most accessible. And really just allow yourself to relax fully into the props. Notice what your breath is doing. Notice if you're taking shallow breaths or if it's possible to take a deeper breath. Definitely meet your body where it's at. Just notice any time that maybe you're getting caught up in a thought or a feeling. And just return to where you're at, which is on your prop, practicing this restorative pose. And when you're ready, you can start to walk your hands up and return back to a seated position. We can remove all of our props now, except for the throw pillow, or blanket that might be underneath. You see, I'm so relaxed, just tripping over my words. So now we're going to come into a seated position where we'll be sitting upright. Or if you want to return to the Supta Baddha Konasana, the first position we were in, you can. I'm going to come up to seated. We're going to do a little bit of breath work. You can place a prop underneath your seat for additional support. It makes the pose just a little bit more comfortable. And then I also might recommend throwing a blanket over your shoulders. I find that the weight feels really nice, and also just the warmth, especially in the winter. I'm in New England, so the famous cold winters. And then once you're settled, just find a comfortable place for your hands and straighten your spine, so lift your chest up a little bit. And you can lower the gaze here, or you can keep the eyes closed. We're just going to move through a few rounds of box breathing. So what that looks like is we'll breathe in for 4 counts. We'll hold for 4 counts. We'll breathe out for 4 counts. And we'll hold for 4 counts. So to begin, let's all take a breath in together. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in and breathe out. Return to your normal rhythm of breath. And we'll sit here for just a couple of moments longer before wrapping up the practice. And just notice overall, how does your body feel? Are there areas where you're still holding tension? And if so, can you let that go? And when you're ready, you might bring your palms together at the chest. Bow your chin to your chest. You can either stay here or you can start to move on into the rest of your day or night. But thank you so much for joining tonight. I really look forward to continuing to practice with you. And I also wanted to mention that although this is technically called yoga for sleep or restorative yoga, it's really for any time where you feel like your nervous system is just on overload. You feel really stressed and you just really need to restore and rest for a bit. So although I use this for sleep, I often use it for many other times when I'm just feeling really overwhelmed. So I would encourage you to try it in those times as well to see if it helps. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you for the next class.